What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope everyone's doing phenomenal. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. We will have week 3's NFL slate kicking off in just a couple hours. So you know what we need to do, ladies and gentlemen. We need to check those lineups. This is our last opportunity to set the best possible lineups for week 3 of the fantasy football season. So we're going to go through each game here, let you know who I think are the key players that you need to start, go over any key injuries. We'll talk about each player in each matchup. And of course, most importantly, I will be on for the next few hours answering any fantasy football questions that you guys have. Start sits, adds, drops. Who's still out there on the waiver that you might want to think about? Trade questions, roster reviews, whatever you guys need. It's Sunday morning. Let's have some fun. Talk some fantasy football. All right, so let me quickly go over any of the top of the news, although we'll go through every game individually here anyways. Really think the only thing that changed from last night's stream till this morning is that Jordan Love is basically out. I mean, we kind of assumed Jordan Love was going to play, but now we're actually getting an indication from the team that Malik Willis is going to be the starter. And I didn't even realize that like Michael Pittman was in jeopardy and not playing this week, but Michael Pittman is good to go, expected to play, dealing with a back and a calf injury. So I don't know if you trust Michael Pittman this week, but Michael Pittman is good to go. All right. I see Ghost Hunter in the chat here. Half PPR, T. Higgins or Aaron Jones. It is interesting because, you know, I think in half PPR, sometimes I do gravitate towards the running back position. But in this circumstance, I'm definitely going to go with T. Higgins because that matchup against the Commanders, I just can't ignore. I mean, this might, if T. Higgins has a bad week, you guys are going to hate me. But yeah, I'm starting Jamar Chase and T. Higgins no matter what, if I own them. So it's got to be Higgins for me, even in half PPR. Matchup is way too good. So take the upside, take the matchup. Richard, what's going on, man? We got Ridley White, Aaron Jones, Jerome Ford, Devin Singletary, and PPR. I go Ridley, Rashad White, and Jerome Ford due to matchup, but I don't mind Aaron Jones if you like him over one of the two running backs. Josh, this one made the poll for the day. Who should I start, Derek Carr or Kyler Murray? I mean, you can't really go wrong here. But if I own Derek Carr, I feel like he's such a safe start this week. Such a safe start. The floor and the ceiling are both there. The matchup's there. Kyler's still a great start. But I might just I might just take Derek Carr here personally. It's tough. If you go Kyler, I do not blame you, though. Got T or Godwin. I mean, based on matchup, it's T. Higgins, but Godwin's a wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now. So floor is with Godwin, the upside's with T. Higgins. That's a tough one. I probably, like I said, you want the safe play, go Godwin. You want the upside. Then roll with Higgins. Josh also asking Dallas Goedert or Gesicki. Yeah. Let's see where New Orleans comes in against the tight end position. 19th. I think Goddard's kind of the forward play here. If you need a little bit of upside, go Gesicki. Sea-Dog, Moss or Ford? I like Ford this week. As you guys see on the screen, before we break down all the matchups, I like Ford. I think I go Ford against the Giants at home. I think I'll be okay. I'm not too worried about Deonta Foreman. Zach Moss, I still think is like fine. Solid start, but I'd rather start. I mean, this Giants run defense has been really bad. I like Ford a lot this week. Steven, what's up? Debating on one wide receiver, two flexes. You got Pickens, Najee, Robinson, also have Steele, Lad McConkey, and Chase Brown. I mean, I probably in this circumstance start George Pickens. And I'd probably start DeMarcus Robinson. I'm trying to really avoid that Steelers-Chargers matchup if I can. It makes me really nervous, but guys like Lad McConkey and Najee Harris are going to be your best bets here. I'm not starting Carson Steele this week. I don't feel confident in doing so. But I guess you could consider him as well. But I probably just go for the volume here. So Pickens, Najee, Robinson, unless you want to throw Lad McConkey in over one of those guys. But we're not really. I have a bad feeling about the Chargers-Steelers matchup, fantasy-wise. You know what I mean? That's tough. I think to stray away from that matchup, you probably have to start DeMarcus Robinson out of this bunch, but probably Pickens, Robinson, Najee, or Lad. If you like Carson Steele over one of those guys, and go for it, I guess. J2, we got Tyler Johnson or Quentin Johnston. I mean, you're basically touchdown or bust with Quentin Johnston. You got Jaden Reed too. This Steelers-Chargers. Steelers are giving up the 8th fewest points to wide receivers. Chargers are giving up the 2nd fewest. I think the safest volume is Quentin Johnston, but I just don't know if he's anything more than touchdown or bust. But I don't really trust Tyler Johnson, and I don't trust Jaden Reed with Malik Willis at quarterback in the revenge game. So I guess I kind of go for Quentin Johnston here. Believe it or not. What's up, Tommy? You got a flex option, Naylor, Brian Thomas Jr., Rome, or Ty Johnson. Brian Thomas Jr. Rome, Cooks, or Whittington. Cooks. Take the volume here. Naylor is a spicy pick, though, if you like him. But I'd probably go Brian Thomas Jr. Let's go, League 2. Let's get it. Good luck, bro. You'll probably beat me. Orak, good to see you, bro. Juan, what's up, my guy? You need a wide receiver 1 and 2, and an RB2, and a flex. We got DJ Moore, Pierce, Ridley, Dell, or Judy, Kyron, Ford, or Jacob. So wide receiver 1 and 2, give me DJ Moore. He's been fine in full PPR. He just hasn't scored, doesn't have a good ceiling, but he's fine. And give me Ridley. I mean, the volume's there. Just give me Ridley. RB2, you got to go Kyron. You still got to go Kyron, and then I'm flexing Josh Jacobs. I mean, really, like, your running backs here, I think you have better value. So like Kyron, Ford, Jacobs, those are guys that you're going to want to start here. When you have good enough wide receivers, but you got a lot of volatility amongst those guys. So I would start Moore and Ridley than Kyron and Jacobs. Cats, good morning. Shakir, Akers, or Waddle? I agree with you. I would start Shakir. I think he's a nice, safe floor. I go Shakir. Full PPR need 2. Downs, Thielen, Waddle, McLaurin, Kirk, and Tutu, says Orak. I probably go Waddle and McLaurin. I think those are just the safest plays. I'm very worried about McLaurin, though. I just don't know exactly what we're going to get out of Downs in his first game back. I don't know exactly what Thielen's going to look like with Dalton at quarterback. I don't trust Kirk right now. And 2-2, there's just way too much volatility amongst these Rams wide receivers. So I probably just trust your guys and Waddle and McLaurin, but you got to. This is definitely one of those where everyone can outscore each other here. All right, guys, I'll get back to the chat in just a few minutes. Keep your fancy questions coming. Sorry, I am sick. I am happy to be here, but I'm a little under the weather. Let's go through each matchup. So, Giants at Browns. Really, I'm only looking to start Malik Neighbors in this matchup. I think if you're desperate, Randall Robinson's okay. Browns 16th against the wide receiver position. If you're desperate enough, Devin Singletary. Browns are 15th against the position, but I'm a little bit worried here about the Giants on the road. So really, the only player that I feel fully confident in is going to be Malik Neighbors. In terms of the Browns, I'm giving Amari Cooper one last shot against the Giants at home. Okay. Cooper had 8 targets last week. The targets have been there. The receptions and the points have not been there, but I'm going to give Coop one last shot. If you're desperate, you need a flex option in full PPR. Jerry Jeudy is fine. He's fine. Okay. I'm not going to go out of my way to start him, but he's definitely fine. Now, Jerome Ford, we mentioned it earlier. I do like Jerome Ford. I think that this matchup is too good to ignore. I know last week spooked a couple people because Deonta Foreman came in and had 14 touches, right? I've seen people Deonta Foreman, and I don't know that I necessarily feel fantastic about flexing Deonta Foreman. You'd have to be really desperate for me. But Jerome Ford, I think, is a fine start. David Njoku is out. So let's just leave it at that. Let's not try and start Jordan Atkins. That did not work out last week. Don't think it'll work out this week. And I'm not touching Deshaun Watson. And I mean, if you're in a super flex double QB, sure, whatever. But I'm not going to feel good about it. All right, Eagles and the Saints. This is going to be a big game fantasy-wise. A lot of fantasy implications here. So this is actually a pretty bad matchup for most of the Eagles starting offensive players who are on the road. But you got to start Barkley. Am I worried about Barkley? No. Will his ceiling potentially be lower this week? Sure. But are you going to bench Saquon Barkley? No. He's still at 17.6 points last week and didn't score. After having 33.2 in week 1, he's the RB3. You got to start him. Jalen Hurts, another guy you just got to start. Doesn't matter. 18.4 in week 1, 24.8 in week 2. This is going to be a good game. So I have no fears of starting either of those guys. And I don't have any fears of starting Devonta Smith either. He is playing as a true wide receiver 1 right now. And there's just no reason whatsoever to even think about benching him. Dallas Goedert, fine. You got to start Dallas Goedert. It is what it is. If you own him, then that's fine. There's really not a ceiling with Goddard. It's touchdown or bust, but at least he's going to get you like 7-ish points as a floor. A.J. Brown obviously out, but we're looking to start all the Eagles starters for the most part. Moving on to the Saints, we're also looking to start all of the Saints offensive starters for the most part, including Derek Carr, who has a fantastic matchup. I like Derek Carr a lot this week. He's thrown at least 2 touchdowns in each game this year. Don't think that stops this week. The toughest matchup goes to Alvin Kamara in this game for the Saints starters, but no way you're benching Kamara. And Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed against this Eagles secondary are absolute must starts. Absolute must starts. I mean, these guys got to be in your lineups. This Eagles secondary is, I mean, it might not be the worst in the league, but they're close to it. And they're giving up the second most fantasy points to wide receivers on the season. So great spot for the Saints starters. You were probably starting most the guys on the screen anyways, but don't get spooked if you own some of the Eagles. Matchups aren't as great, but you got to start them. And you got to start these Saints players too. So, all right, moving along to the Texans at the Vikings. Very quickly, I'll answer Omar's question. I will get back to the chat and I will answer every question in the chat. But Omar, the super chat, start 2 in PPR, Akers, Steele, Javonte, or Madison. If I'm in this position, I'm going to start Akers because he's tied to the best offense. I mean, maybe outside of the Chiefs here, but tied to the Texans, who we're about to talk about anyways. So I think you can start Akers if you need to. I don't really want to go out of my way to start Akers. But if you need to, Akers is fine. And this is interesting because Madison has a great matchup. Steele's still on the Chiefs, even though I don't like the situation. And Javonte actually has a really good matchup. So I think you could really start any of those other guys. Madison, I if you guys have the guts to start Alexander Madison, then do it because he plays the Panthers. You know, Madison or Zamir White's going to walk out of this game with a touchdown. I don't think that's crazy to say. So, Javonte's got a good matchup. That's really tough. I think if you want to get ballsy, start Madison. But it's ballsy. And Javonte, like I kind of liked starting the week because it's a good matchup, but you look at his stat line last week, he had like 5 receptions. If he didn't have the 5 receptions, he had an awful game, you know? I don't know if he's going to repeat that this week. Call me crazy, but I might go Madison here. What do you guys think, Chad? Akers, Steele, Javonte, Madison. I feel like Akers is the obvious one. So moving to that matchup, Omar, thank you for the super chat. Texans at the Vikings. You got to start Stroud. You got to start Collins. Not a great matchup for Stroud on the road here. I will point that out. He's had 18.6 and 14.3 fantasy points. He hasn't been bad. Just hasn't had a high ceiling. It's not a great matchup for CJ Stroud this week. I'll point that out. You know, maybe you have Derek Carr, Baker Mayfield. Maybe you got a late guy like a Jaden Daniels. You can think about benching Stroud this week, but it's going to be tough to do so. Now, really the only Texans wide receiver that I think is a for sure must start is Nico Collins. But if I own Stephon Diggs, I'm probably still starting him. Revenge game. And if I own Tank Dell, you can, of course, still consider flexing him. But I can understand if you want to bench Tank Dell as well. He's done nothing. Cam Akers, if you're forced to start Cam Akers, he had 4.57 yards per carry last week. Okay. Don't go out of your way to start Akers, but he's fine. And a lot of you guys are in a position where you might need to start Cam Akers. So obviously Joe Mixon's out. Looking at the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, obvious must start. Good matchup for Jefferson this week. Aaron Jones, I have in the start category because I think a lot of people are in a position, if you own Aaron Jones, you probably just have to start him, right? And I still think the volume is there. It's not a great matchup, but this is a home game. So, and he barely missed double digits last week. He obviously had double digits in week 1. I think Jones is fine. That's about where I put him. Fine. And you might be forced to start him. I mean, if you're in a position where you had to pick up Sam Darnold, or you're in a super flex league, I do like Sam Darnold this week. He's not on the screen, but I do like Sam Darnold. So Jordan Addison's out. So Jalen Naylor becomes sneaky. He's been real sneaky to start the season. If you have to flex Jalen Naylor, then so be it. All right, I'll answer a couple questions. Get caught up here, then we'll keep going through the matchups. Jason, are there any moves I should make? And then can you rate my team? AR5, A-Chain, Gibbs, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rice, Bowers, Olave, the Bucks defense, Money Mac. You got London, ETN, and Njoku, Love, Singletary. No, I probably leave this lineup as is. I do like ETN this week. It's a good matchup for him. But I think you got to start everyone else you're starting here. Team is solid, though. I mean, you're basically head to toe. You're good here. Streaming defense. You can't start a good week to start the Bucks. This is a solid 9. This is close. There's really no issue with this team. I mean, Love and Njoku are hurt, but it's a very good team. I don't think you need to make any moves. You can always, for the right package, try and tier up somewhere, but I'm probably sticking with this squad. All right, bottom of the chat, Omar with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, bro. Flex 1 and Happy PR, London, JSN, Najee, Akers, or Rashad. For me, it's Rashad White. He's healthy. He's played. This is a great matchup. Great matchup against the Broncos. The Bucks are at home. Half PPR especially. I'm going Rashad White. London, JSN, fine. Najee and Akers, fine. But Rashad White is the guy I want here. So if it's my roster, I'm starting Rashad White, Omar. Easy for me. Tommy, Flex 1, Foreman, Reed, Randall, Ty Johnson. I mean, when we're in this like kind of tier of players, whether it's running backs or wide receivers, like any of these guys could outscore each other. I don't know that I trust Jaden Reed. I want to, but I wanted to last week and it did not pay off. I probably just start Randall Robinson. I mean, you could start Tyler Johnson, I guess. I'm not confident in flexing Deonta Foreman. I just can't do that. He's like a desperation start for me. Tyler Johnson had 4 points last week. Here's my issue. Like, I got a really angry comment this week about not talking about the Rams wide receivers in yesterday's video. And it's like, do we really know who to start here? Like, 3 targets to Tyler Johnson, 4 to DeMarcus Robinson, 2 to Jordan Whittington, 4 to Tutu Atwell, 2 to Colby Parkinson at tight end. And so for me, there's just a lot of volatility and uncertainty. Like, yeah, they're all fine in a roster. If you're desperate enough, I would probably start Demarcus Robinson. And the Niners have been pretty friendly to opposing wide receivers for the first 2 games. But like, what are we really doing here when we're basically taking a shot in the dark on who's going to be the most involved in the game plan and who's going to end up having the best chemistry in the short term or however long term this is going to be that Puka and Cooper Cup are out with Matthew Stafford. So I like Jordan Whittington. Talked about him in the offseason, drafted him in underdog drafts. I like DeMarcus Robinson a lot, but I still think there's a lot of volatility and uncertainty. And, the thesis was there last week. It was a good matchup against the Cardinals. And none of these guys really gave enough in fantasy. I mean, Tyler Johnson, 4 points, Robinson, 7, Whittington, 4.2, Atwell, 7.8, Parkinson, 2.2. So there, don't get me wrong, the thesis is there. I get it, but I'm just worried about starting any of those guys. So to answer your question, Tommy, I would probably start Randall Robinson, but this might be one where you just kind of trust your gut because there's issues with all 4 of these players. Cats Hunter Hunter Henry still has more points than Dalton Kincaid. I think we have to keep a closer eye on Anthony Richardson versus what was it, Kyler Murray and Jordan Love. JT, my friend wants a Gibbs. Who'd you try to get? His wide receivers are Ayuk, Flowers, JJ, J-Mo, and Coop. I mean, you should try and go for JJ. But, it depends on what you can get. Ayuk and Flowers got to be up there too. I think Ayuk will have a big week this week, so. I don't know if you'll be able to get JJ, but he's, Gibbs is still a very high value player. Jonathan, what's up, man? Amari Cooper or Higgins? This is tough. I mean, I'm going to go Higgins, but I think Cooper is fine this week. I think he'll be better against the Giants, but I'll go Higgins. I'll take Higgins due to matchup. Just give me Higgins. Washington's giving up the most points to wide receivers. So, by the way, Jonathan, I spell my name how you spell your name. It's the right way to spell Jonathan. Millie Mills, what's up? PPR God, Kamara will go ham again. All I saw was Kamara, and I thought you were going to ask a question about potentially starting someone over Kamara. We're not doing that. Orak, what's up, man? Goff or Purdy? I really like Purdy this week. Purdy's got a great matchup. I think he's going to come out and be really solid this week. So the Rams are giving up 3rd most fantasy points to quarterbacks. But Goff's got a really good matchup too. Both have been bad. Yeah, the Cardinals are next in line, 4th most. Purdy has been really, Goff and Purdy have been throwing for yards. They just haven't been throwing a lot of touchdowns. And Goff's had an interception bug to start the year. I think I go Purdy. The Rams look really bad. I think I'll go Purdy. Am I crazy for wanting to start Jawan Jennings on my wide receiver 2 and Jalen Naylor at flex over Worthy? Asked Ryder. I don't think you're crazy. I don't think you're crazy. You get a safer floor with both those players. So I don't think you're crazy. The upside is with Xavier Worthy, but the risk is with Xavier Worthy as well. So I don't think you're crazy. Great matchups for the other two. Fam first, DK or JMO? I'm probably just starting DK. I mean, JMO has a better matchup. JMO's been great. I have no qualms with starting JMO whatsoever here, but tough to bench a guy like DK. You know, once we think about benching a player like DK, even in a bad matchup like last week against the Pats, it's like a 60-yard touchdown like the first 10 minutes or whatever. So tough to bench a guy like DK, but if you feel like you need some more upside, I'd probably go JMO. Swift or Dobbins? Swift has the matchup. Dobbins has been the better player. Dobbins has a bad matchup this week. It's going to be really interesting. I mean, the Steelers giving up the third fewest fantasy points to running backs. Chargers in that same matchup giving up the sixth fewest. So I'm kind of avoiding Dobbins, but I also feel like the way this offense is ran, the way this team is, that Dobbins can score this week. Hopefully Herbert is actually fully ready to go here. Swift, on the other hand, Colts are 23rd against the position, so Dobbins for a floor, Swift for upside, but man, this is the last time if Swift does not show up this week against the Colts, then I'm staying far away from Swift. Swift, Zamir White, these guys can't score this week. And I think Swift, you know, I mean, problems all around with that offense and that offensive line, but yeah, Swift's going to get close to a droppable player here. Dobbins for floor, Swift for upside. Orac, my other league, full PPR, need two. We got Coop, Gabe Davis, Downs, Pittman, Kirk, and Dobbs. I would start Cooper against the Giants. And I guess Pittman or Downs. Not really a great matchup for them. Bears are giving up the 11th fewest points to wide receivers. I don't trust Kirk. I don't trust Dobbs. I don't trust Gabe Davis. I mean, Pittman still at 7 targets. He's a little banged up, though. You know, I think Downs is a player to definitely pick up. But I don't know that I want to start him right out the gate. I definitely put Cooper in, and then Gabe Davis has a bad matchup. Like I'm not going to. I mean, Davis had 7 targets last week. I don't trust Kirk. Man, this is a tough one. I guess I go Pittman, but who do you like the best, Orac? I'd probably just whoever you feel the best about. I'd definitely start Cooper. Tommy Madison or Hill? Madison. Catch says, gotta go Akers easily, even though it feels like a trap. Projectable volume and an elite offense, for sure. What's up, Warrior Loft? Good to see you, bro. Andrews, Rome, or Jawan Jennings. I mean, You could start Mark Andrews. Like, I think he probably provides a good floor. But I think I'd probably go for the upside with Jawan Jennings here. Great matchup for Jennings. What's up, buddy? Hop, love you, bro. 2 different leagues. Should I play Purdy, Baker, or pick up Darnold? Should I play Hill with Skyler, Marv, or Shaheed? Oh, some tough ones. I think for quarterback, you could go for a floor with Baker. If you want a little bit more upside due to matchup, I think you can get that with Purdy. I'd probably just play it safe and go Baker, though. I think he's going to be solid again this week against the Broncos. And then the next one's tough. Like, if you're worried about Tyreek Hill, which I'm not really, then you could go Marvin Harrison or Rashid. Like, you got really good options here is the good thing. Because Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill, you know? He's been good in the past with bad quarterbacks. I personally probably just play Tyreek Hill here. But Marvin Harrison Jr. has a great matchup this week. And Rashid Shaheed has one of the best matchups in the whole league. So I probably just start Tyreek. But if you're worried about it, you got 2 fantastic options there. It's a good problem. But I'd probably go Baker and Tyreek here. Isaac, what's up, bro? We got to start 5. ETN, Charbs, Godwin, Devonta, Marvin, and Ayuk. Whew. It's PPR. I mean, these are all good options, to say the least. Charbonnet is a must start for me this week. This Miami Dolphins run defense has been awful. Are these all flexes? Because I really like ETN this week as well. But if I have to pick one of the 2, like if these are your RB2s, then I go Charbs. These wide receivers are tough. Like, you got to start Ayuk due to matchup. Give me Devonta. Give me Marvin. Give me Godwin. If it's full PPR, I'll take Charbs due to matchup, then I'll start the 4 wide receivers. But really, I like all these players this week. Run CMC, good morning. Kyron and Worthy in my roster. Don't you think their role can increase due to teams' injuries? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've talked about that throughout the week. You know, I mean, you look at a player like Josh Jacobs last week, like it felt a little shaky, maybe. Like, Malik Willis, that quarterback. What are we going to get? Got like 30 plus touches or whatever to Josh Jacobs, you know. Good thing for Kyron is his quarterback's healthy. Still a good system, good head coach, good play calling. Bad news is, like, I'm not even as, for Kyron, I'm not as worried about the wide receivers being out as I am. The offensive line is so banged up. So, to answer the core question here, yeah, their role should increase. Oh, it is against me? Good luck, Tommy. Should be fun. Andrew, what's up? Good morning. Yeah, see, Cats, I think for that bet, I get, I don't know, I get a pass because I chose Jordan Love. We'll see. You got to keep an eye on it just for fun, if anything. Mega break, Purdy or Carr? Carr's the floor. Purdy gives you the upside. A little bit more risk with Purdy. What's up, Mega break? White or Steel? I'm starting Zamir White against the Panthers. That might this this one might cost me a subscriber. Need one. Kirk, Watson, Judy. Honestly, Andrea, I go Jerry Judy. Safest play here. What's up, Niners Worldwide? Mega Brick, sit one. Judy Pittman, London. Oh gosh. Honestly, like if I don't have to start Pittman this week, I would just sit him. It's not a great matchup. He's a little banged up. You got Downs coming back. I got a really angry comment this week talking about the Colts wide receivers like Josh Downs and how Anthony Richardson's play is bad for them. So like none of them are worth owning. I don't know why that's my fault, but apparently it is. I think I would consider sitting Pittman here. I think if you are in a bad enough position, you can still start Pittman, but don't feel like I'd go out of my way to do so. I'm definitely still sick, but I'm here. I hate being sick more than anything. It's just annoying. And I was just sick last month. Schultz, Strange, or Parkinson. Honestly, I'd start Strange. Was offered Higgins and Javante for Shaheed and Dowdle. Lost Pacheco, have HA and Warren Chuba. It's basically a lateral trade. And Shaheed has not been hurt this year. I mean, Shaheed's volume still hasn't been great, but the Saints also have not had to throw the football at all. So I don't think I do this trade. I don't think I do the trade. It doesn't really do anything for you. I maybe like Higgins more than Shaheed. Fine. Javante versus Dowdle. Like, what are you going to really be confident in even starting either of those guys? I don't think I do the trade. Tommy likes Higgins over Shaheed. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you do, then that trade's fine, but it's basically a wash. Dylan, good morning to you, bro. Yeah, at least Shaheed has been healthy. Roof Camper. Full PPR, Drake London or JSN? Meh. I'm still a little worried about Drake London. I'm fine starting Drake London. Should get points in this game. Sunday night matchup. Not a great matchup for London. Chiefs giving up the 12th fewest points. The Dolphins have actually been pretty good against wide receivers for as bad as this offense has been. JSN coming off of a 16 target, 12 reception game. I'll say the floor is with JSN. If you want a little bit more upside, it's with Lundo. Here's a trade from Dylan. He sent Worthy, McBride, Kamara, received Olave, Andrews, Cook. 0-2 need a wide receiver upgrade bad. And you have Likely as well, getting Andrews. I don't really like this trade for you. I mean, I still like James Cook a lot on the year. And I think he'll continue to be very good. But I know we're only 2 weeks in, but you traded the RB1 in fantasy who just had 4 touchdowns in a game. Should be selling him like super high. And honestly, even if you have Likely, I'd rather have McBride at tight end. The way the position's playing, he's looking like one of the only solid week in, week out guys. I do like Olave over Worthy, but I it's not gonna like ruin your season, but I wouldn't have traded Kamara or McBride. Like I think you should have got a far better upgrade at wide receiver. I think you sold McBride and Kamara too low. I don't think it's gonna like ruin your team or your season, but I don't know that I love the trade. Elijah, Devontae or Ayuk? Devontae's playing great. Like if you drafted Devontae, you're very happy right now. I mean, I know he only had 10 points week 1, but then he had 26 week 2. Because the Panthers this week. Gardner Minshew has not looked that bad. Like he's not playing great in terms of like fantasy or anything. He's throwing a pick in each game. Still doing Gardner Minshew things, but in terms of Minshew to Adams and Minshew to Bowers, Minshew's been good. But Ayuk has a great matchup. Great matchup. Now the Raiders could at home could like blow out the Panthers today. The Niners, Rams. Niners are on the road. Good matchups for both. Maybe a better game script for Ayuk. I'll say the floor is with Devontae. If you want more upside, you could go Ayuk, but I probably start Devontae personally. But they're both good starts. Savage Germ. Drop Watson for Fields and Superflex. I mean, I think it's a lateral move. Like, there's not really any. There's at least more touchdown upside for Watson. I mean, I get where you're coming from. Like, owning Deshaun Watson has not been fun. He's had 12 points and 15 points. Fields has had 11 and 11. So, I mean, Fields has not thrown a touchdown or ran for a touchdown. Maybe that starts to change as this offense keeps progressing. Hopefully. Ugh. I probably keep Watson. Zeke for Singletary. Yeah, I'd rather have Singletary. 80 for Hopkins. That one doesn't matter to me. It's like Hopkins done nothing this year. 80 Mitchell's. I mean, 80 Mitch. I guess I'd rather have Hopkins, but I don't want Hopkins. Like I don't really want either player because 80 Mitchell's gotten the opportunities in the first 2 weeks and has done nothing with them. And now Josh Downs is back. So yeah, I don't know there. Is there like sorry everyone, I'm sick. Is there like somebody else that exists that you can roll with? Because if there's somebody else, I think I'd rather have them. Dave, Ayuk for Diggs and James Conner pick 2. Ayuk. I mean, I think we've basically found out that Diggs is touchdown or bust. And Ayuk has a great matchup. I'll take Ayuk here. And pick 2. Yeah, James Conner. James Conner, Ayuk. Those are my plays. I think Diggs could have a good game, though. Revenge game. Minnesota. I think Ayuk and Connor are the safest picks. You are welcome, Mega Brick. Niners agrees with me. Tony, good morning. Praying Coleman has improved game, but could flex Akers. PPR would drop Fields for Akers. Yeah, I would honestly rather start Cam Akers in an uncertain first time start in the Texans offense than starting Coleman. I do not trust Coleman. Coleman should not be in lineups. I don't trust him. If you drop Fields, I don't think it's going to break your team, Tony. Tommy, Cam Akers or Alec Pierce? See, I'm a little interested to see if Alec Pierce's fantasy output changes with Josh Downs returning. I'll say the floor is with Akers, the upside's with Pierce. But honestly, I kind of lean Akers. I'm a little like, unless you're forced to, I'm kind of staying away from the Colts wide receivers this weekend. IDub full PPR sit 1. Coop, Diggs, Higgins, JSN. Have Yoshi if something weird happens. I mean, honestly, I probably sit Diggs. I probably sit Diggs. But if you wanted to go Diggs over JSN, I think that's fine. Higgins, you got to start. I like Cooper this week. I mean, if you guys don't like Cooper, I'm okay with benching him. But I like Coop this week. That's tough. I do think any of these guys can easily outscore each other, though. That's a tough one. Some whiskey in your tea. Yeah, I mean, that might help. Neighbors or JSN. I still go Neighbors here. 55% target share last week. I still go Neighbors. I know it was a little bit low on Neighbors in the draft season where he was being drafted. May have been wrong. Maybe even if Daniel Jones is quarterback, maybe it's not going to matter. Y2J29, good morning. Pittman has me so frustrated at this point. Should wait to see if he plays or roll with Yoshi. I think you could roll with Yoshi, but I don't know that I'd really trust Yoshi with Higgins returning. Once again, I'm just worried. I am worried about these Colts wide receivers. I don't really like. I don't blame you guys if you don't want to start Pittman, and he is expected to play. He is expected to play, but now we got Josh Downs. How does that impact things? So I can totally understand, like, not particularly wanting to start him. And Pittman's been bad. Now, if like Higgins wasn't playing, I'd just say go Yoshi here. Is there anyone else on your roster? Travi J, what's up? We got full PPR, 2 flex. Quickly, I see Y2 at the bottom says he is Yoshi and Sutton. I mean, I probably just go Pittman. because at least the volume's there. And like I think you could say the same for Sutton, I guess, but Sutton's done nothing. I mean, and at least I'll take Anthony Richardson throwing the football over Bo Nix. I guess I just go Pittman, but I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not really feeling good about starting any of those guys. I know you're not either, so that's tough, man. I mean, that's a spot where like I would pick up a guy like Jalen Naylor and start him, or Jawan Jennings, but they might not even be available. All right, Travi. So we got J-Lo and Baker, Henry and Mixon, Pollard, Eckler, Jordan Mason, Amon-Ra Cup, McCaff, Cooks, and Kelsey. How can I improve? I mean, your team's not bad, but you've just been hit by two things. You've been hit by the injury bug, and you've been hit by Travis Kelsey not doing anything this year. So right now you're starting what? Baker, Henry, Pollard, Amon-Ra, Metcalf, Flexi, Mason, Kelsey at tight end. I mean, when Mixon's healthy, Cup's healthy, Jordan Love's healthy, you're in a great spot. Oh, and you said two flexes. So your second flex is what? I mean, Eckler or Cooks. Be somebody there. But yeah, I mean, you could try. I mean, I think right now trying to tier up at wide receiver would be most important. The thing that sucks with Cooper Kupp is the Rams literally ran out of IR spots. They have so many hurt players that they can't put Kupp on IR, or else he would be on IR for sure. So like you can't just put a Kupp in your IR spot. But yeah, I mean, you could try and tier up. You could send like a Kupp. I don't even know what you can do. That's the problem when you have a lot of hurt players because you don't want to trade Henry. You don't want to trade Pollard or Mason or Amon-Ra or Metcalf. You need those core guys. So it's hard to tier up and trade. You know what I mean? Maybe try and send Kupp with like who's going to take Kupp and like so like a 2-0 team who's balling out and you try and trade Kupp and Mixon and upgrade at wide receiver. I think I'd hold like honestly, I think I'd hold this team because I mean, you guys got to remember, like, we can start the fantasy season bad. We can start 0-4 and make the playoffs. I've done it before. You have a lot of good players, just a lot of hurt players. Oh, sorry, guys. But you could consider like starting to stream tight end if you want, so you don't have to worry about Kelsey. But yeah, this is like one of those spots where I think trading is really hard. Jelly of the month. You got to sit one: Akers, Waddle, Robinson. Nah. I guess I'll keep Akers in. Should have a safe floor. Waddle, I mean, I think I'll start Waddle here. Give me Waddle. If you went Robinson, I wouldn't blame you, but I'll go Akers, Waddle. Tajay Spears or Williams at the flex. Best dogs, I go Javonte. Oh. No, go Higgins. Also, Rashee Rice or Hill. You need to start Rashee Rice, Tyreek Hill, and T. Higgins. Those are your answers. Get those players in your lineups. Should I flex Pollard, White, or Hill? Have Marvin Harrison and Rice. At wide receiver 1 and 2. Hill. We're still starting Tyreek Hill. Still starting Tyreek Hill. Pollard's a great option. White's a great option too. So, but it's got to be Hill. Is Khalil Herbert worth a stash? Sure, but here's the problem: like, unless Swift gets hurt, are we really ever going to start Herbert? I mean, we saw him score last week, but especially with how this Bears offense is playing, are we really ever going to feel confident in starting Herbert? You're sitting at touchdown or bust. So you can stash him, but you're stashing him, I think, based on something happening to Swift. Some sort of update. Taysom Hill is out. No Taysom Hill today. Pittman, Fergie, or Ladd? Probably. I don't really want to like flex a tight end. So I guess Ladd, but his matchup sucks. Space Ghost. Who to flex? Diggs. Eckler. Singletary. Quentin. Rome. I mean, I'd probably still start Diggs. It's scary, but excuse me. I probably still start Diggs. I mean, Eckler's okay. I'd probably go Diggs. Najee, Charb, Jones, White, Charbs for sure. Charbs for sure. If you own Charbonnet, he's a fantastic start this week. Flex PPR Diggs running back above that wasn't picked. Oh, okay. Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah. You could go Aaron Jones, but I'd probably go Brian Thomas Jr. in PPR. Should I sit Hill and start J-Mo? Say, don't sit Hill for Javonte Williams. I'm going to start Hill personally. But if you want to go J-Mo, I think he's a really safe start, a good matchup this week. If you want to go J-Mo, fine. But I'd probably start Hill. 0-2, but hopefully Pittman comes around and Chris Godwin keeps balling out. Eaton and B-Rob, I can hopefully recover. Yeah, it's been an injury bug. You're down AJ and Ingram. It's been that type of season, man. He can recover. KJ, Johnny Smith or Gasecki. I lean Gasecki, but Smith is interesting. I lean Gasecki, though. I mean, I will say with Gasecki, I mean, maybe he has less targets because of Higgins being back, but I'll lean Gasecki. Gibbs or Zach Charbonnet? Still Gibbs, but I really like Charbs. But still Gibbs. Oh, sorry. Rashee Rice or Hills is separate. The floor is with Rice. Hill still gives you that Tyreek Hill upside. But if you just want to go Rashee Rice, he's a safe start. That's fine. Tyler starting Chuba, Jalen Warren, or Samaji. Chuba.
It's a good matchup for Chuba. He was fine last week. The volume's there. I'll just go Chuba. Sharp, 16-team full PPR, Ford or Brian Thomas or Sutton. I mean, I probably in full PPR start Brian Thomas Jr., but I think that Ford is a really safe start here as well. So it's between those two guys. I probably full PPR start the wide receiver. Space Ghost, appreciate you, bro. Robert, hurting at running back. Bucky Irving or Jalen Warren? Whoo, you are hurting. Bucky Irving. I mean, seriously, Bucky Irving. It's a better matchup. Jalen Warren's match. I mean, I don't think we're gonna I'd be worried about Najee today. I'm worried about most players in the Chargers Steelers matchup. So, yeah, I go Bucky Irving against the Broncos if it's this bad. But man, I just don't feel good here. I'm sure you don't feel good either. Supersize, what's up, bro? Yeah, Chuba's got to be the start there, Tyler. Maybe Samaji does something. I don't feel good about Jalen Warren. It is a good matchup for Chuba. Maybe Andy Dalton brings some light to this team. Let's hope. Supersize, we got Kansas City or Chargers. Thinking Kansas City. I actually like the Chargers more. I think if you own the Chargers or the Steelers, they're both solid starts. I mean, they've been two of the best defenses in fantasy football to start the season. So I go with the Chargers. I think the Falcons still going to be able to do something offensively. Chargers are the defense 4. And Justin Fields is the quarterback here. So, yeah. Give me the Chargers. All right, let's break down some more matchups. Packers traveling to face the Titans. Jordan Love is, I don't think he's officially rolled out, but every report is like as of late last night is indicating that Jordan Love is going to be out. Yes, I am sick, but I'm here. So I originally had this slide as like a little bit different. Like maybe we start Jaden Reed, maybe we don't. If Jordan Love plays, I think you probably still sit him. But right now, it's looking like it's just Josh Jacobs and nothing else for the Packers offense. In terms of the Titans, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley. Pollard's got a great start. I really like Tony Pollard this week. And Calvin Ridley, the Packers have been kind of up and down defensively through these first 2 games, but I think Calvin Ridley showed enough last week that even in like kind of bad situations, Calvin Ridley could still come through. So I will keep Calvin Ridley in our starting lineups for now. All right, yeah. Bears, Colts. A couple things I do want to talk about in this one. So DJ Moore should be fine. Should be fine. He's gotten 10 plus fantasy points in the first 2 games. Now he's got a great matchup against the Colts. So fire up DJ Moore. DeAndre Swift, question mark. It's a good matchup. But do we trust DeAndre Swift? I don't know. I don't know. if you have the cojones to do so, I think it's okay. That's where I'm going to leave it at. Now, A Rich and JT, not great matchups here. But how do you bench these guys? I just want to point out that it's not necessarily a good matchup for Anthony Richardson or Jonathan Taylor. But you probably still got to start both those guys. Then the Chargers at the Steelers. So that where you see J.K. Dobbins and it says third, the third is supposed to be red because it's a bad matchup, not a good matchup. I still think you can start J.K. Dobbins, but you see the asterisk because I'm not going to go out of my way to start J.K. Dobbins this week, but he's definitely still startable. Then obviously Justin Herbert's questionable, but I think as of this morning, things are trending towards him playing. But I think it's still like we really want to pay attention to that because I don't exactly know if he does play what we're going to like. He's not going to be mobile. I mean, you got to really pay attention to these foot and ankle injuries for Herbert. But it's just tough here. You probably don't need to go out of your way to really start any players in this matchup for the Chargers or the Steelers. Bad matchup for Pickens, bad matchup for Najee. You should really only be starting anyone in this matchup if you absolutely have to. Chargers allowing the second fewest fantasy points to wide receivers and the sixth fewest fantasy points to running backs. I do like both defenses in this matchup and both kickers. You guys play with defenses or kickers. All right, Axis, what's up? We need to start two, a running back and a flex. Full PPR, we got Akers, Zamir, Dell, Shakir, Deontay. Do I start Ertz, Strange, Parkinson, or Schultz? So in terms of your running back situation, I probably go Akers and Shakir. Take the safest floor. If you want to risk it, you could go Zamir White. The upside's there due to the matchup, but that's about where I leave it. It's between Zach Ertz and Brenton Strange for me at the tight end stream. Due to matchup, I kind of lean Brenton Strange. But Zach Ertz is okay too. Those are the two I like the most. Supersize 2-0. Let's go. Love to hear it. Damo. I was offered Javonte and Higgins for Shaheed and Dowdle. Oh, we did this one earlier, right? I don't think I'd do the trade. I think I prefer Dowdle over Javonte. If you like Higgins over Shaheed, you could do the trade. It's a pretty lateral trade. But I think I prefer Shaheed and Dowdle. You're like really comparing two very fringe RB2s here. And I just think I like the Saints offense a bit more. I don't know. I think I trust Shaheed a little bit more than I trust Higgins right now. But I think Higgins gonna have a big game this week. He's playing the Commanders. So I think I prefer Shaheed and Dowdle. But like if you really want Higgins, I think it's okay. But it's a pretty lateral trade. I don't think it's going to drastically like improve your team, you know. Like Javante had a decent stat line last week, has a good matchup this week and everything, but if you take away his receptions last week, he did not have a good game. Smokey. No. I'm so sad you lost your YouTube. What? No more Smokey the Cat. Dude, I can't call you Alex. What's up, Smokey? Drop one. Warren, Chase Brown, have Moss or Bucky. I probably keep Bucky just because Rashad White, did have a groin injury last week. He's at least getting touches. I guess I'll keep Chase Brown because you have Zach Moss. I guess I'll drop Jalen Ward. I think you could still drop Chase Brown. Like, it's between Ward and Brown for me, but I guess because you have Zach Moss, I'd hold on to Chase Brown. All right, Dolphins. Yes, I'm still starting. Or Dolphins at Seahawks. Yes, I'm still starting Tyreek Hill. Yes, I'm still starting Devon Achane. I think you can start Waddle, but you don't have to. Two is out. We know that. Charbonnet is a must-start player this week. Then I only ended up putting DK Metcalf down. You can flex JSN or whatever. I don't really feel crazy about Lockett, but I'll just leave it at that. I don't really like Lockett this week. All right. Here's a good one. I put sit everyone for the Panthers, but I think you can start Chuba this week. Chuba's the one player from the Panthers that I feel okay about starting. Especially with all the injuries and stuff. If you're in a spot where you need to put Chuba out there, I'm not against it. Adams, you got to keep in your lineups, and Brock Bowers has a great opportunity to potentially score a touchdown and have a huge game. So Bowers in this matchup has to be, he was already a must start, but he continues to be a must start. All right, Super Size has got Kyler Kamara. I like that it repeated Alvin Kamara like 3 times, some reason for you. Kamara. Devin Singletary. Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, Kincaid, Cook, Kansas City, Jake Bates. Jake Bates been good. Rich, Mostert, Brian Thomas Jr., Chargers defense, Tyler Lockett. Lockett's the first one to go. So I love that you're winning with Devin Singletary as your RB2 because it just hasn't mattered. So Kyler, Kamara, Singletary, Amon-Ra, CeeDee. How'd you get Amon-Ra and CeeDee? Kincaid, Cook. And you could even consider yeah, he's your RB3. I see you saying. You could go Kyler, Kamara, Cook, St. Brown, Lamb, Kincaid, and flex Brian Thomas Jr. Singletary is probably still okay. And for this week, I like the Chargers defense over the Chiefs. But hey, if you're 2-0, you're 2-0. Start your guys. All right, Niners and the Rams. This is such a good spot for the Niners. Coming off a loss on the road against a depleted Rams team. Believe it or not, this team's not really depleted on the defense. They're depleted on the offense. But their defense just been playing awful. So Purdy, good matchup. Jordan Mason to score a touchdown. Should be easy money. Brandon Ayuk, a great spot. Jawan Jennings, a great spot as well. Debo's out. George Kittle's out. I think we're basically, I mean, at first I was kind of viewing Jawan Jennings as more of like, I don't think a lot of people need to go out of their way to start Jawan Jennings, but he's definitely very solid this week. Very solid this week. Kyron will be fine. You see where it says 13th. That's supposed to be yellow. It's not that great of a matchup. Messed up a couple of my slides. So I'm sick. But Kyron should be fine. The Rams wide receivers do have a really good opportunity here. Really good opportunity here. But who are we going to start? That's the question. All right. Road Cheetah. What's up? Waddle, Dell, Lad McConkey, Jennings, Pierre. Pick 2. It's a good question here. I like, this is a circumstance where I probably start Jawan Jennings and I try and go for the upside. You know what I mean? I probably take the upside here. And then it kind of comes down to like Waddle and Dell. I guess Lad, but Lad's got such a bad matchup. Such a bad matchup. I'd probably go Waddle and Jennings, but I think Waddle could be replaced here by Dellard. I mean, kind of in this tier you're in. Like, the problem is just about everyone can outscore each other, you know? I'll go Jennings due to matchup. I know Waddle's got the backup quarterback, but I mean, if you don't like Waddle for that reason, then I say you just go take Dell, take some risk, and go for the upside. Dell's got to pop at some point, right? Lad's just in such a bad matchup. I don't trust Pirine. I don't trust Gabe Davis. Like, at least Waddle is secure in that offense, even if he's got a backup quarterback. At least Dell is secure in that offense, even if he hasn't been producing. At least got Stroud at quarterback, right? So I'll take Jennings due to matchup, and then it's really a toss-up. Like, the problem is you're kind of crossing your fingers whether you start Waddle, Dell, or Lad, that one of these guys scores, because their volume alone isn't enough right now. So it's kind of your best guess, and whoever you like the best here. Definitely a tough spot, man. Phillip, Steele, Foreman, Reynolds. Honestly, in PPR, I'm starting Josh Reynolds. I think he's the safest play here. If you're in on Steele, sure. Foreman, good matchup. Ford's still there. I just start Josh Reynolds. He's the safest floor. Smokey, what's a good 4 out of 5 player parlay? I'll say the players that like I'm primarily looking at: Jordan Mason, Zach Charbonnet, Rashid Shaheed, or Chris Olave. I like Derrick Henry. Like the matchup is there for Derrick Henry, but he's scored like 2 weeks in a row, so I'm a little bit worried about him. I feel like the odds are lower, but Henry's got the matchup if you like him. That's about where I'm at. JJ's got a really solid matchup. He's scored 2 weeks in a row. I like Pollard a lot this week. And I do like Brock Bowers. So any combination, whether you're taking like the over on those players rushing or receiving, or you're looking at touchdowns, those are probably, due to matchup, the players that I like the best. But man, like Shaheed and Olave they're in such a good spot, but Shaheed has scored 2 games in a row. Like, does it keep going, or is it Olave's week finally? So, but due to matchup and taking away variables, like for example, I like Rachaad White. He's got a great matchup this week. But do I trust him? Not necessarily, because he's coming off an injury. So, yeah. And this scrolling through again, Bowers, Pollard, Mason, Sharps, Shaheed, or Olave. I do like Jerome Ford. I like Jameson Williams this week. So there's opportunity out there. I would start Raheem Mostert over Singletary, but Mostert hasn't played. Don't touch. I mean, I'd rather start Singletary right now than Mostert. By the way, thank you for the super chat, Spooky. Godzilla Toes, what's up? Who should I start at my flex spots? My starters are Judy and DJ Moore. I would rather start DJ Moore. He's got a great matchup. Oh, yeah, you're okay. Sorry. You're starting Judy and DJ Moore. Your bench is Dobbins and Brian Thomas Jr. Like, I do think that Dobbins can score today, but I also think this is a really tough matchup. The Chargers are on the road. I just got to update that Justin Herbert is active today, so that's good for the Chargers, but they got to be really careful with Justin Herbert right now. Foot injury, ankle injury, all that stuff. I would stick with Judy and DJ Moore. I would. I like Brian Thomas Jr., but Judy, Moore, safe, start him. How long we think Mixon is out for? Not too long. Another week or two at most. Maybe he's back this week. So he's either back or it's just a short-term week or so. Chase Brown, Flex, Waddle, or Jacobs? Half PPR and full PPR for wide receivers? Jacobs. I'm confused by the end. What's up, Chase? It's half PPR for running backs, but full PPR for wide receivers? That's interesting. Is that what you're saying? Devin Singletary or Brian Thomas in PPR? Brian Thomas Jr. Take the wide receiver in full PPR is generally what I do. You're welcome, Roach Cheetah. Vinny, Shaheed or Waddle? Shaheed. Give me the upside. Give me the matchup. Got to go Shaheed. That's interesting. I've never seen half PPR for running backs and full for wide receivers. I still go Jacobs. We'll see. Should I pick up Akers now and avoid having to drop Fab on him, assuming he'd be the top RB waiver ad? I don't know if he is going to be the top waiver ad because the question is still going to be in the air. Like, maybe he will be, but it's still a really short-term play. Like, the question is going to be in the air. Does Joe Mixon return or not next week? So, but yeah, if you can pick him up right now, you say play him over Najee. I mean, I'm okay with playing him over Najee. Yeah, just don't drop anyone super valuable. But yeah, I'm surprised he's available. So, if you want to pick him up, go for it. That's fine with me. All right, we did get the official word that Jordan Love is inactive today. But we already knew that was going to happen. But it's official. Josh, J-Bo, or B-Rob? B-Rob for a floor, J-Bo for upside. I mean, I like Jameson Williams a lot this week. But it's probably... If you want the upside, go J-Bo. If you want safe floor, go B. I mean, I really like B-Rob this week too. So... I'll probably take the upside if it's full PPR and go J-Bo. Yeah, it is PPR. I'll go J-Bo. Be dropping 80 Mitchell and I have Mixon. Yeah. If you have Mixon, 80 Mitchell, go ahead and drop with Josh Downs coming back. And Mitchell really not taking advantage of the Colts trying to get him involved. So, yeah, this is a good move for you. I'll go ahead and do it. For sure. All right, Lions, Cardinals. We're basically starting everyone here. If you have a starter in this matchup, I think this is going to be one of the best matchups of the day. To start everyone. And yes, supersize. I like the Chargers defense over Kansas City. For sure. Chargers defense been really, really solid, good in fantasy. They play the Steelers. I think we're going to expect more points with the Falcons and Chiefs. Ravens, Cowboys. We're basically starting everyone too. I'm going to change this because I spelled Jake Ferguson's name wrong. I did this like late last night and I'm sick, so I'm not surprised that there's been some tiny errors. Chiefs, Falcons, once again, we're probably like, it's not the best matchup for the Chiefs wide receivers. Not a good matchup for Bijan or Drake London, but we're going to expect points in this game. And we're going to go ahead and roll everyone out there. For the most part. It is a really good matchup for Kyle Pitts. Chiefs have been bad against tight ends, the worst in the league in terms of fantasy points allowed. Monday night, we got the Jags and the Bills. ETN is a very solid start this week. It's a bad matchup for Brian Thomas Jr., but I still like him. The volume should be there. The Jags will presumably be played from behind. So I still like B-Tom this week. Evan Ingram's out. If you need to start Brenton Strange, fine. Sorry, I'm sick. But the grind never stops. All right. Bills, pretty straightforward. You're starting Josh Allen, James Cook. I guess I skipped Dalton Kincaid, but you can start him too. And Khalil Shakir is the Bills wide receiver that I want to start this week until someone else shows enough consistency. It is a really good matchup for Shakir as well. Not a great matchup for Jaden Daniels on the road against the Bengals, but I am okay still with starting Jaden Daniels because the upside is there. I think we all know that. So Brian Robinson Jr., I do think is a solid start. Not the greatest matchup on paper, but he's still solid. Outside of that, like, I'm not feeling very good about Scary Terry. I want to feel good about Scary Terry, but I just don't think that I do feel good. So, I mean, if you are forced to start Terry McLaurin, sure, okay, but like, am I going to go out of my way to start Terry McLaurin? I don't think I can. Zach Ertz, if you need a streaming option at tight end, fine, do it. The Bengals, on the other hand, I think we're going to fire up on all cylinders. Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Zach Moss, and Mike Gesicki, if you need to. Fine, throw them out there. This matchup, beautiful. Commanders, bad at defense. So, all right, there's all the matchups, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, usually I put this in a video and put it out Sunday morning, but like I said, I'm sick and I was not going to be able to get this done last night. But it was, I think it's kind of nice for the stream, actually. All right, Chase Weber, start 2 in full PPR. Deontay Johnson, Jawan Jennings, Pittman, Whittington, and Mooney. I probably go Jawan Jennings. And then the second one is tricky. Pittman has been like really shaky. I've not felt great about starting him all day long. Like, I just don't think we can have confidence in Pittman. I just find that to be a scary start. So, but man, like, do we really trust Whittington? Do we trust Moody? Because, like, I kind of lean Jawan Jennings and Moody here. But I don't know how great I actually feel about that. You know what I mean? Deontay Johnson's going to be like, I feel like Deontay Johnson is more of a watch. Like, Andy Dalton's at quarterback, but what is that really going to mean for Deontay Johnson? It should be good in theory, but is it actually going to be good? Is my problem. I guess I go Jennings and Mooney. But I'm not like overly, I mean, I know you're not overly excited either, but that's probably who I'd throw out there. But at least we're expecting points between the Chiefs and the Falcons. So good luck. That's the problem with like picking up Jordan Whittington is like, he's got a great matchup today. But we went over the Rams wide receivers earlier. Like, the volatility in terms of targets for everyone here is all over the place. So I don't think we can really be confident in starting Whittington just yet. Plenty of upside. I do like him. So we'll see. We'll see. But good luck, man. I maybe could go Deontay Johnson over Mooney. But the problem is if Mooney didn't score last week, are we really even considering starting him this week? You know what I mean? So maybe we can go Deontay, but I don't know what it's going to mean with Dalton at quarterback. Doug ate Chinese food for breakfast. I can't say that I'm not jealous. Can't say I'm not jealous. All right, guys. So we're at the bottom of the chat. I'll probably go for 2 hours. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. So I guess thank you guys for bearing with me while I've done a 6 stream today. Let's see. Take a look at some underdog pick'ems. I don't like the way this displays on the screen for you guys. Oh, here we go. Let's do an 8 pick. Probably not going to amount to anything, but just quickly scrolling through. Guess I should use my free CD Lamb pick, which all underdog users are getting this week. I got Dobbins in here, but I feel like I'm going to take Dobbins out. You're welcome, Chase. Sorry, that's a tough one, bro. It's a tough one. Hopefully that answer helped you a bit, but in a tough position. And they still got Jordan Addison in here. He's not even playing. Chase Brown, Waddle, or Pittman? I go Waddle personally. I'm very worried about Pittman this week. Very worried. I'll go Waddle personally. Oh no, I got too many Saints in my lineup. So I got JJ to score, Burrow over 1.5 passing TDs, Mason to score, Lamb over half of a yard, and Carr over 1.5 passing TDs. I will say Underdog is really expanded. They have everything you can think of for each matchup. All kinds of defensive players, all kinds of stuff. All right, guys, we'll start to wrap up in the next 10 minutes or so. So if you'll need anything, get it in here kind of last minute. We'll get off at 12 a.m. my time. Unless a ton of you guys come in here and start asking questions. Naylor or Whittington, what's up, Chunk? I go Naylor. I mean, better matchups with Whittington, but Naylor still has a good matchup. He's at home. He's been way more consistent. We know what to expect to some degree. Give me Naylor. He's had a touchdown 2 games in a row. He might have another touchdown today. Maybe he doesn't have the highest ceiling. But I think he's a way safer play. We just don't really know what to expect out of the Rams right now. All right, JJ to score, Burrow over 1.5. Mason, free CD Lamb pick, Carr over 1.5, and Charbs. This is pretty solid. Might be my play for the day. Let's do it. JJ, Burrow, Mason, free CD Lamb pick, Carr, Charbs to score. Charbs, Mason, JJ to score, Carr and Burrow to have over 1.5. TDs, throwing TDs, passing TDs. Free CD Lamb pick. If you're a new user and you sign up with the link down below, you also get that free Patty Mahomes pick. But all Underdog users will have that free CD Lamb pick. Chunk, I'm sad I have to ask that question. It happens, bro. Happens. But yeah, I think Naylor is who I would choose here. I think Naylor is who I would choose. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Whee! All over the screen. Let's see. Feel the same on Chuba over Deontay. Yeah, I would go with Chuba. I feel like he's much safer. I just have no idea what we're going to get whatsoever out of Deontay Johnson today. I mean, if you guys want to risk starting Deontay Johnson, like I don't want to necessarily talk you out of it, but I just really don't feel great about it. I don't know. We got to see Andy Dalton in a full start before I think we start any of the Panthers players. Do you like to slip Stroud over 1.5, Kamara, Barkley, JJ over 5.5, Dobbins higher than 56.5, and Mason? I mean, it's not bad. I'm a little worried about Stroud. It's not the best matchup on paper, but he could always hit that line. Kamara, Barkley, I think can always hit. I will say I'm worried about Dobbins here. Mason, I think, is easy money. JJ, I do like because I think that's going to be a competitive game script. Mason, I really like. Kamara and Barkley do have kind of steeper matchups against each other's teams today, but I'm okay with them. If you like it, trust your gut, go for it. But I would say honestly the one that worries me the most is is Dobbins. I get it, Chase. I mean, I think most people considering Panthers players in their lineups are dealing with injuries. Have to start Deontay. Yeah, once again, I mean you're probably dealing with injuries. Reminds me, I should probably check my lineups. Let's see. Carr, Henry, Kamara, St. Brown, DJ Moore, Higgins, Gesicki, Monty. That looks pretty solid. That's even on a team with Kittle and Jordan Love down. Baker, Bijan, Henry, Amon-Ra, Metcalf, Ertz, Randall Robinson, Xavier Worthy, Jared Goff. I know I have injuries here. I'm going to put Jalen Naylor in over Robinson. I'll keep Worthy in. I got Njoku and Cup out. That team's 2-0. Close matchup today. Carr, Swift, Jacobs, Olave, Flowers, Likely, J-Mo, Rice. This is a 2-1 CMAC team. Could start Freiermuth over Likely, but I kind of see the Ravens-Cowboys game being high scoring, so I'll just keep Likely in. That'll be interesting. I've had a lot of injuries going on, like most people. All right, Baker, Hall, Chuba, Watson, Worthy, Goddard, Higgins, Kirk. This team has been decimated. I got Debo out. I got Pacheco out. I mean, I guess that's it, actually. But at least I have Breece Hall on this team. Yeah, this team's in a really bad spot. All right, Purdy, Chuba, Swift, Hill, London, Freiermuth, Ayuk, Rice. This team does have Carr, but I think I'm going to roll Purdy out there just in one league. I got a lot of Derek Carr starting this week. Carr, Henry, White, Lamb, Flowers, Pitts, Worthy, Chuba. Benching Jaden Daniels for Carr. Could put in Deontay over Chuba or Worthy, but I'm going to leave it. Super flex team, Lamar, Charbonnet, Brian Robinson, Nico, Devonta, Freiermuth, Moore, Shaheed, Carr, Carlson, Green Bay. That's a good team. Jordan Love, Dobbins, Ford, Pickens on the bench, and Pacheco on IR. Team's definitely got a shot today. Baker, Barkley, Javonte, Garrett Wilson, Metcalf, Goddard, Dell, Worthy. Could go Zamir White here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put in Zamir White. Cooks, McLaurin, Jordan Love, Javonte, Dobbs. I'm going to win or lose with Zamir White. Catch league number 1. Kyler, Bijan, Henry, J-Mo, Smith, Ferguson, Monty, Moss. Prescott, Debo, Braylon Allen, Robinson, Randall Robinson, likely on the bench. Yeah, I'll just roll with this. Playing Pete. He's already started Breece Hall. Catch fam, Superflex, A-Rich. Oh, yeah, I'm hurting on this team. I got Pacheco on IR. I really just drafted Barkley and Pacheco. So I'm starting A-Rich and I'm starting Justice Hill. I drafted Raheem Mostert too. That's how bad it is. McLaughlin, Gus Edwards. I didn't make it in time to pick up Cam Akers. I have to start Justice Hill. A-Rich, Hill, Barkley, Shaheed, Cooper, Gesicki, Dell, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Reed on the bench. This team's not completely dead in the water, but a little scary. Baker, A-Chain, Rashad White, Hill, Rice. Pitts, Flowers, Ayuk, Moody, Green Bay's defense. This team's good. It's somehow 0-2. Got Carr on the bench. I'm going to start Carr over Baker. This is a tough one at wide receiver. Flowers, Ayuk, Hill, Rice. Could throw J-Mo in there. I got White on the bench, but I'll just leave it as is. Y2, Pittman is cleared to play. I'm begging the fantasy gods. I mean, begging the fantasy gods for 10 points, if anything, the way he's been. All right, very quickly, my dynasty leagues. Goff, A-Chain, White, Devonta, Garrett Wilson, Demarcus Robinson, Freiermuth, Monty, and Kirk. I mean, I have options in the flex. Michael Wilson, Alec Pierce, Quentin Johnston. I'm going to bench Christian Kirk. I'm going to start Alec Pierce. I mean, I'm projected to win. I think that's why I had left Kirk in originally. But I don't trust Christian Kirk at all right now. All right, another single quarterback dynasty. Jaden Daniels, Kyron White, Amon-Ra, Pittman, Rice. Ooh. Taysom Hill's in my starting lineup. This is a league where I don't have a tight end. Like, literally. Hawkinson. This team is really good, other than my tight end spot is awful. I'm projected to lose. And there's not even any starters out there on the waivers. What's my record? I'm 0-2, but this team is like really not that bad. I've had a lot of injuries. I thought this team was going to be much better. Oh, well. Maybe we'll just start 0-3 and we'll tank. Burrow, A-Chain, Eckler, different league, Superflex, Dynasty, Olave, Ayuk, Watson, McBride, Chuba, JSN, Purdy. I think this team's 1-1. Pacheco hurt this team. This was another team looking really solid going into the year, but like Watson's been affected. I don't know. We still got a chance to win this week. All right, this team's 1-1. Should have won week 1. Barely lost. A lot of points on my bench. Superflex Dynasty, 1-1. Burrow, Henry, White, Amon-Ra, Ayuk, Lad McConkey, Freiermuth, Flowers, Shaheed, Purdy. I got Purdy, Prescott, and Burrow in this league. There's other names here I could start. I think this is probably the best lineup. So leave it as is. Maybe I could bench Lad McConkey. Throw in like Jalen Naylor. But I think I'll just leave Lad McConkey in. Not everything. I could go Gesicki over Freiermuth, but not particularly playing a great team this week. Although they do have some names like Dobbins and Bowers, Andrews, J-Mo, Harrison, B-Rob. They're also starting Will Levis, Malik Willis. So we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's stream. We went through every matchup. Got a lot of fantasy questions answered. So thank you guys for the fantasy questions. If you guys need anything throughout the day, drop a comment on one of the YouTube videos, and we will roll back our week 4 schedule just like we did week 3, except I think I'll actually get a video out Sunday morning next week because I won't be sick. Rice or Charbs? Full PPR. I'll go Rice.
because it's PPR, but I really like Charbs. If you want to go Charbs, I'm not against it. Both are very good starts this week, but I think I'm keeping Rice in my lineup. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to you guys later. I think I'm going to start to be able to be on Monday nights, so that's a good news. And I might even make it on Sunday nights. Not exactly sure. So, all right, love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. I'll talk to everyone soon. Good luck today in week 3. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch.